Welcome back to today's high-speed daily explainer. We're smashing through 8 core current affairs topics mapped directly to your UPSC syllabus. We're pulling from today's vital briefing to give you the most concise, high-yield overview possible. Let's get right into it. 8 topics, 8 minutes, 0 commercial fluff. Let's beat the clock and get straight to the facts, because we really have a ton of ground to cover today, from international choke points to major domestic policy shifts. So let's keep that focus absolutely sharp. All right, kicking things off with GS2, international relations. We're looking at the U.S.-Iran 60-day nuclear negotiation draft. Now, this new draft negotiation dropping is already sending global crude oil prices down. But what's really key for us here is its proposal to immediately cease maritime hostilities. This brings a huge concept into focus, the UN Close Freedom of Navigation Principle. It is absolutely crucial that you link this principle directly to geographic choke points. Think about the Strait of Hormuz, right? It's literally an extreme geographic vulnerability for India's maritime energy lanes. Understanding exactly how international maritime law protects these critical pathways through such incredibly dense conflict zones is a must-know concept for your notes. Okay, shifting over to GS2, polity and governance. Let's tackle the 11th NITI Aayog Governing Council and some fresh legislative updates. So check this out. At the 11th NITI Aayog Governing Council, we actually saw full participation from all 28 chief ministers. And that led to a pretty radical shift. A massive push for district-level GDP estimates to really track grassroots growth. I mean, this gives you a perfect, modern case study for competitive and cooperative federalism in decentralized planning. On top of that, states were heavily pressing for flexible green energy financial integration, which shows a super fascinating dialogue happening between the center and state levels on climate finance. Now, looking at legislative updates, this next topic brilliantly illustrates the strict, neutral balance you've got to maintain when discussing the FCRA Amendment Bill 2026. On one hand, the government aims to centralize direct regulatory control over NGO foreign funding to project internal security. Makes sense, right? But on the flip side, civil society groups are raising major concerns that this severely shrinks their operational space for genuine grassroots development. You literally have to objectively weigh both of these perspectives when evaluating the role of institutional stakeholders in the development sector. Don't take a side, just present the balance. Moving right along to GS1 and GS2, social justice and electoral laws. We've got 3 major interventions coming straight from the Supreme Court today. Here is the absolute crucial takeaway for elections. Once that election process is set in motion, the Supreme Court has completely ruled out Article 32 or 226 interventions. Actually, your only constitutional remedy at that point is an election petition under Article 329. The Apex Court recently dismissed a high-profile writ petition over a Rajya Sabha nomination, explicitly reinforcing the judicial boundaries of the returning officer under the Representation of the People Act. Basically, you simply cannot bypass this constitutional mechanism once those electoral gears are turning. Furthermore, the court is not messing around when it comes to the PCPNDT Act. They issued incredibly strict directives against local complacency, demanding urgent, immediate enforcement. Their main focus? Eradicating the patriarchal preference for a male child. Combating these skewed sex ratios and India's deeply persistent patriarchal biases requires active, not passive, local monitoring. Protecting vulnerable sections literally means ensuring these institutional biases are just rooted out completely at the ground level. Building right on top of those constitutional safeguards, let's talk about the KG Balakrishnan Commission. Their finalized report is going to heavily influence upcoming equality rulings. You see, historically, scheduled caste status was strictly limited under a 1950 presidential order, but by investigating whether social disabilities, like untouchability, actually persist for Dalit converts to Islam or Christianity, this newly completed report is set to trigger a massive, highly consequential Supreme Court equality review. We're talking deep dives into Articles 14 and 15 here, so keep a close eye on this one. All right, next up is GS3, Economy and Defense Technology. We're hitting indigenization and production-linked incentives. To really jolt our domestic economy, the Ministry of Textiles has officially approved 22 fresh applicants under Round 3 of the PLI scheme. They are aggressively targeting man-made fibers with a really heavy focus on technical textiles. The whole goal here is to rapidly scale up India's manufacturing capabilities and, of course, create massive employment opportunities across the industrial sector. Concurrently, we have some huge news in defense. The Ministry of Defense just secured a whopping 449 crore rupee deal under the IDDM category for ECGNSS jammers. Their purpose? to completely shield Indian Navy ships from foreign satellite tracking. By the way, IDDM stands for Indigenous Design, Development, and Manufacturer. This is a massive leap forward in securing our maritime assets using homegrown technology. It's like the perfect example of the current push for rapid defense indigenization. Finally, let's look at GS3, Environment and Physical Geography. We're tracking protected sanctuaries and some concerning climate mechanisms. In geography today, we're really looking at two incredibly contrasting scales of impact. On a local level, Dhanushkodi down in Tamil Nadu was just designated as a protected flamingo sanctuary, which brilliantly safeguards international migration routes. But pan out to a macro level, and we have a serious issue. The advance of the southwest monsoon has actually stalled, and it's being blocked by active western disturbances. This is a massive thermal engine anomaly. Even just a 2-week delay directly threatens kharif crop sowing. And what does that mean? It links physical geography straight to food inflation risks, putting immense pressure on our domestic economy. It's a domino effect, right? Okay, to lock all of today's fast-paced knowledge into your memory, it's time for a micro quiz. Consider the following statements. Number 1, the Strait of Hormuz connects the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. Number 2, education was moved to the concurrent list via the 44th Amendment. So, which of these are correct? Drop your answer, A, B, C, or D, down in the comments so I can heart the correct ones. As you review these facts today, I want you to ask yourself, when international choke points tighten and our own climate mechanisms stall, is our domestic policy truly resilient enough to handle the pressure? Think about it. Make sure to subscribe to keep studying smart, and I will catch you in the next explainer.